Hey, welcome to the podcast, episode 604. We are just fresh back from our trip, kind of, a week ago. We were on the East Coast. Crazy times traveling. Nothing crazy TSA-wise. We had a flawless experience TSA-wise. Same with my parents. My parents had to go out of town, and they flew to Memphis, Tennessee. They had a connection in Dallas, from Seattle, Dallas, Memphis, and they had a layover in Dallas. And when they were about to get on the plane, there was something wrong with the plane, so they had to wait like 2 hours. Then they had to wait another 2 hours, and then they got on the plane. It was pushing back. Boom, something's wrong with the plane again. And they're just like, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? And they're like, well, you can get off, get on this other flight, or you can stick it out. It's probably going to be like 45 minutes. Ended up being an hour, a little longer, but not bad. They just stayed there. It's just a long traveling day. Anytime anything goes wrong, I feel for you guys. We travel all the time. MxPx is just constantly out there. And then between that and then what I'm doing with Goldfinger as well, it's insanity, really. Coming up, I think, very, very soon. It is now April. So MxPx is going to be in Denver, Colorado on Saturday, April 11th, Mission Ballroom, with our good friends Goldfinger, Zebrahead, and Homegrown. I cannot wait. I am so looking forward to this show. I'm just so excited about it. Come get tickets. It's tons of tickets are already sold. It's getting low already, but don't wait. Get your tickets. We'll be there. We're going to be at all of the Warp Tours, Vans Warp Tour, kicking it off June 13th, 14th in Washington, D.C. I think there's 2 days for Warp Tour, so they're not announcing which day bands are on yet, but I think at some point we'll be able to let you guys know which day we are playing. All right, so kicking it off, Washington, D.C. in June, then Long Beach, California in late July, Montreal, Quebec, that's Canada, in late August, and Mexico City, Mexico, September. Right before that, actually, that's September 12th and 13th, and right before that, MxPx is going to be at Punkadeka Festival, Saturday, September 5th. So if you're in Europe, if you're in the UK, somewhere over there, you want to come see us, we'll be doing a full set in Milan, Italy. I can't wait for that. It's going to be so much fun. And yes, we are flying out for one show. At some point, we'll do more dates, but that's all we can do right now for those. And then we'll be in Mexico City, September 13th, the very next weekend, to be honest. So not a lot of rest for us happening this summer and this fall. Orlando, Florida, Vans Warp Tour, November 14th and 15th. That's after my birthday. Whoa! All right. The year is already flying by. I'm just looking at our year. Wild times, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. You guys are the best. MxPx.com. We got hoodies. We have vinyl. We're selling out of a lot of the vinyl records and variants that we've had. So if you've been wanting to get something, please don't wait. We're selling out all the time, and we have new stuff all the time as well. But we have reached the end of the Find a Way Home era. If you're watching on YouTube, my YouTube is Mike Herrera Video. Please watch on YouTube, because then you can see what I do and how I look and what I'm wearing. And this hat, this is the Bridgeport Islanders, and they're actually moving their stadium they're moving their whole franchise, I think, to Canada. So no more Bridgeport Islanders. I can't say I was an actual fan. I'm a fan of the people. Some friends of friends gave me this hat, and I'm a fan of the area. It's in Connecticut, so sad to see that team go. But another end of the era is Find a Way Home. We have reached the end of that tour with the Ataris, and we're entering into this upcoming show in Denver is it's kind of a festival show. It's a big show, so those bigger shows, we can't always do meet and greets. And I think Vans Warp Tour might be a little different. I'm not sure if we're going to do meet and greets there. But it's just questionable. It's just a different kind of thing because we can't really control how we make things happen at those big festivals and things like that. So we'll see. We'll see. I know you guys always want to know about the meet and greets, especially since they're free. So End of an Era, Find a Way Home tour. It was awesome to meet so many of you out there. We just played Washington, D.C., 930 Club. We played Norfolk, Virginia at the Norva. Awesome show, awesome people. We played Charlotte, North Carolina at the Fillmore. Another awesome show. Was expecting that to be awesome, but it was really, truly awesome. So thanks for coming out to that. And to cap it off, Sunday night, Charleston, South Carolina. It was at Charleston Music Hall, and it was an awesome show. It was so much fun. We had, like, the last time we were there, we were playing this place that was just kind of run down. It was called, I think, Music Factory in 2006, 2004 or 2006. I'm not sure which one. And it just, it wasn't the best show. But when we came back this time, it was awesome. So thank you so much, everybody that came out for that. End of an Era, MxPx, Find a Way Home. We're still going to be playing some of the songs. We just probably won't play 4 or 5 all in one show like we kind of have been doing here and there on this thing. New album coming. I mean, I'm getting excited because we're starting to work on everything and get it ready, and you're going to hear more about it very soon. Yes, the new era though, before the new album is this Warped Tour stuff. We're going to be playing Warped Tour, and we're going to be out there seeing you all. So I appreciate that. I hope you guys get psyched for the full new album. You might hear something, but you're not going to hear the full album until, I don't know when we're going to release this thing, to be honest. I can't even say. It all depends on when we can get the vinyl done, and we can't get the vinyl done because the artwork's not done, and the songs are just now getting kind of done. And yeah, we're working on it, you guys, but I'll show you some clips soon. All right. Don't want to hype you up too much yet. Let's get hyped up on these live shows. Let's get hyped up on this merch we got. We got a lot of stuff. Thank you so much for representing MxPx and for supporting what we do. When you guys buy from MxPx.com, it truly does support a small independent business and a small independent band. And we truly are independent, even though we work with promoters, that work with Live Nation, and we work with big, ticket mastering companies sometimes. But truly, when it comes down to it, we're fighting against them just as much. We are trying to always keep our independence. We're trying to make ourselves known. And yes, we are doing much better than we were, 10, 20 years ago. But it's because of you guys. So thank you so much for all your support and all your love. We really, truly appreciate it. All right, let's get to some voicemails. What do you think? End of an Era. Always awesome to play with the Ataris, but now that we're playing Warped Tour, we'll run into them on a couple of these Warped Tours, but it'll be a little while probably till we play with the Ataris again. I don't know. Never say never, right? Never say Buffalo. I made myself laugh. That was stupid. All right, let's get to it. Here we have a voicemail from Michael.
Hello, my name is Michael, and this message is for Bob McKnight, or whoever is screening these voicemails. I wanted to relate my experience from the Charlotte show. The band set was awesome. It was the best show I've ever seen before. The meet and greet, not so much, which is why I'm calling. Tom, Yuri, and Chris were awesome. They were clearly stoked about getting positive feedback about the set. I tried to compliment Mike on doing such an outstanding job with the podcast, which took maybe 20 seconds, and he seemed like he would have rather been talking to anyone else about literally anything else. He barely acknowledged that I existed. I've been listening to the podcast since 2023. In that time, I've asked a bunch of questions, putting a lot of time and effort into formulating them, and asking about things that I thought the entire fan base would like to hear about. Mike's answers on the podcast are always very detailed and well thought out. For episode 602, which is very recent, he started his answer by saying that he and I should have a conversation about what I'd asked him about. In person, he was anything but interested in hearing from me. Thus, I wanted to give you guys 2 recommendations. Number 1, if the podcast is just being kept around to try to encourage folks to come to shows and drive merch arsenal sales, then go ahead and kill it. I thought the intention was to try to educate the fans about what it's like being a full-time musician and finding a way to do it yourself on your own terms. If it's really just marketing, then get rid of the pretense and do something else for marketing. If Mike's heart number two, if Mike's heart just isn't in it when it comes to doing the meets and greets with fans, then just have Tom, Yuri, and Chris do it. While waiting in line, it seemed to me that all four guys were excited about talking to the other fans. Tom, Yuri, and Chris lit up the moment I walked over there, but Mike certainly wasn't interested in talking to me. And no, him trying to offer me a quick compliment to save face while I was walking out of there was just weak. I feel that Tom, Yuri, and Chris shouldn't have what they're doing be undermined by him if he's going to be like that, and if he is, then don't make him a part of it. The bottom line is I appreciate Tom, Yuri, and Chris for making "We're Just Like You" straight from the crowd mean something. But for Mike, as the podcast is his swim lane, being blown off by him was pretty disappointing. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, Michael. All right, this might be worst review I've gotten for the podcast and for my personality and myself ever. Maybe not ever, but on the podcast. So I appreciate your call, Michael. All I can say is I'm sorry you feel that way. I mean, I honestly, I try to give everybody time, and sometimes there isn't time to have a conversation during a meet and greet. But that doesn't mean I didn't want to talk to you. So it must have just been a misunderstanding, because to be honest, I think you're getting it completely wrong. I'm the one that encourages all those guys to do the meet and greet when I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. When one person's maybe like, do we really have to go do this? I'm like, yeah, this is important because, meeting fans and seeing them face to face and getting to shake their hands and getting an experience with our band is very important to people. And it's not like we're having this conversation all the time. Maybe it happened one time, right? They get it. They definitely get it. And, but I guess, I'm not going to be hurt, because I truly feel like you got it wrong, Michael. I feel like you're taking this very personal, and I don't see what is happening that's wrong about what I'm doing on this podcast. I mean, I take your questions. I talk about what you guys are talking about. I try to give you some insight into what we go through and what happens. It's a very niche kind of podcast. It's very much like people that want to know about MxPx and want to know about what I'm doing, and maybe a little bit at Goldfinger now and again, and whatever is happening, right? Like live stream stuff, all of the above, your experiences at shows. So, I'm very surprised you had a bad experience. I mean, did you not have fun at the actual show? What were you expecting to happen at this meet and greet? Because I've never once told somebody, oh, I don't care about what you're saying. Like, I just don't understand. Maybe you said something and I didn't hear you. Maybe I was thinking about something else, or somebody was talking to me and you didn't realize it. There's got to be an explanation, to be honest, because you can't do all these podcast episodes I've done by myself, by the way, a lot of these by myself, just talking, just answering questions. I rarely edit things out. Sometimes things will get edited out for whatever reason, but it's not, I'm not out here trying to put my best face forward on this podcast. I'm trying to be honest, and I'm trying to be insightful, and it's not always completely clearly communicated because I'm just human, and I'm not even planning out what I'm going to say. I'm just saying things from the heart and from the top of my head. So I'm just wondering why you would come and attack me so hard when you've listened to so many of these podcasts and you know me. I mean, I can, maybe you don't know, but did we have some sort of spectrum moment where I was on some other side of the spectrum and you were on the other side and we just couldn't connect? And I'm out here let me just describe what a meet and greet's like. People are coming. I'm signing things. Tom's telling me to hurry up, and he's always making me go because Tom makes it kind of happen for everything. And people are constantly talking to me, yes. And that's the whole point. I'm not trying to not talk to people. There are times when I am less talkative because my voice is tired. And if we have another show the next day, I'm worried because I'm worried that my voice is not going to be very good. And that, I would say that happened. It wasn't the first night for sure. DC, we're still good. But by the time you get to Charlotte, you have one more show. My voice, I was worried that my voice wasn't going to be good that night. It was. But then you got one more show to do. So there's times when I'm being maybe quieter, talking quieter than you would want. But it has nothing to do with, I don't know what you're accusing me of other than being disingenuous and using the podcast as a marketing ploy, but not caring about the listeners. I just don't get it, Michael. I don't get it. Feel free to call back in and, of course, defend your points and kill me more. But I just don't understand why you would not understand that we have all these fans, and especially Charlotte. There was a ton of people at the meet and greet. It was a long line. And yes, I'm trying to be nice to absolutely everyone. And you're here attacking me for not giving you like 5 minutes of a conversation. Like, dude, we have literally like 20 seconds per person where I'm trying to give each person a meaningful interaction. And some people want to tell me their life story, and I try to listen until somebody pulls them away. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's other people that have had experiences, especially with the meet and greet. And I wonder what your experiences are. Did you have a bad experience? Am I doing this for all the wrong reasons? Should I just not do the meet and greet and let Tom, Yuri, and Chris do it? I'm absolutely willing to do that if that's what everybody wants, because it's easier for me. I could just chill in the dressing room, and the other guys could do the work. And I just, wow. Wow. I don't want to become jaded. You know, I think this is going to roll off my back because that's what things do. But I still want to internalize it and make sure that I'm not doing this for all the wrong reasons. This podcast, the meet and greets, the shows. I mean, what are we doing, Michael? What are we out here doing? What do you think I'm doing here? Do you think I'm making money on this podcast? Do you think the few people that listen to this podcast are who are buying tickets to the shows? No, dude, it's like 3%, probably less than that, and that's okay because it's a different community. It's a more insular community. If you're part of the podcast listener community, I'm giving you a wink, you know, and maybe you just didn't get that wink. I don't know, but pay more attention next time, you know, or pay less attention next time. Maybe you're focused on the wrong things. I don't know. What are you focusing on when you come up and you're like so mad at me? You must have been mad at me before the meet and greet. What are you thinking about? What's going through your mind? And also everybody else, if you wouldn't mind, if you've been part of a meet and greet and you have something to say, negative, positive, whatever, please call in. The number is 360-830-6660. And should I kill the podcast? You know, what am I doing wrong? Where did I go wrong with Michael? What could I do to regain Michael's trust? Am I the asshole? Right? It's like a Reddit thread. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely an asshole sometimes. I'll admit that. But I absolutely don't remember ever being one to any of our fans this last run on the East Coast. Every single person I talked to, I thought was a great experience, including who I think Michael was when he's talking about the podcast. I think I probably kind of vaguely remember that. I don't remember anything weird happening. And And, when I'm doing things, I'm probably just like, this, that. I'm like signing something. I'm like, oh, yeah, thank you so much. Da-da-da-da-da. All right. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast, man. I appreciate it, because I'm thinking of things as I'm thinking of things. And so he's thinking I'm like trying to save face when I'm literally just trying to give people everything. And it's never enough. And that's all right. But I'm going to keep trying, because what else am I going to do in life? Like that kid called in last week or the week before, like, hey, I'm calling in because what else would I do? I'll probably call in next week. So I'm still waiting for your call, my friend. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I can come off abrasive sometimes. So maybe that's all it is. But I don't get the vitriol, and I don't get the fact that you turned on me so harshly when obviously you've been listening a long time. You've been calling in. I've been loving your calls and your questions and your topics. Been loving it, man. Like, it's great. So what the hell? Why come so hard for me? Like, I'm just, maybe I'm not like you in all ways, but but I'm not an asshole, and I don't think you're lesser than me. Like, I just don't get it, my friend. So, like I said, anybody else, please call in. Let's talk about the meet and greet. Let's talk about the podcast. Let's talk about the reasons why we all do this. And what do you think my reasons are for doing this? Because I've already said it's to have a community of like-minded people, and you don't even have to agree with me. So it doesn't even have to be like-minded. I think what I mean by like-minded is most of you like punk rock, most of you like MxPx, most of you like what I do acoustically, most of you are starting to like Goldfinger, and yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. And it's not, I guess it's, I mean, let's go deep, but I want to know where I went wrong. All right. That's me, vulnerable, guys and ladies. Call in 360-830-6660. And Bob does not screen these calls. Bob actually got sick. He couldn't even make it to Charlotte. That's why nobody has Mike Herrera podcast stickers, which maybe you're mad about that too. I don't know. Bob feels terrible. He couldn't make it. His whole family got sick. I think one person in his whole family didn't get sick, but Bob definitely got sick, and they had the flu, and he was in bed for days. And I feel bad for you, Bob. It really was such a fun show. It was maybe my favorite show of the 4 shows was Charlotte, which is amazing because all the shows were fun. So I was on cloud 9 after that show. Don't get where Michael is coming from, but Bob, you'll make it to the next one, I hope. Bob really did have the best intentions. He got the stickers printed, they're in his hands, and then he got sick. Oh, it's such a Bob move. Shout out to Bob for producing the podcast. All right, let's get to hopefully a nicer voicemail. But hey, I'm not gonna, I mean, obviously there's some voicemails I might not play on the podcast because if it's crude or if it's just not appropriate or whatever. But like, this was a bad review on me and on the podcast and on my personality on the show, and I didn't want to just ignore that. So now everybody knows I'm a big a-hole. All right, let's get to another another voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, Mike. This is AI Mike, a.k.a. Jake Walk from New York. Hey, I know this is a long time overdue, but I'm super flattered you think we're voice twins. I don't see how, I don't really hear it, but I am super flattered about that compliment. So, just calling for a few things. First off, it was great seeing you at the DC show. Once again, great job to you and the gents on another kick-ass show. It was definitely a much-needed morale boost for me. It definitely perked up my energy, and once the music got going, all of a sudden, the 5-hour drive along with 5 hours of sleep I was on, all that fatigue went away. So, again, great job, guys, on that show. Next thing, I know at the show you guys performed GSF, and to tie it in with the merch arsenal, I noticed when I ordered the GSF pin, I saw that a GSF certificate came out. So wonder whose idea that was. That was a great idea. Totally love the GSF certificate. Just was wondering if maybe there might be something along the lines with Chick Magnet that might come out, where, you guys might come out with like a Chick Magnet certificate. And anyway, thanks guys for coming out onto the East Coast. Thanks, Mike, for what you do. Happy Easter, guys, and take care. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Jay. I appreciate it. I love hearing that it's a morale boost, just seeing a show, seeing us play those songs that you've been jamming. Appreciate it so much, man. DC was so much fun. It was our first time back in DC in so long, since I got my back tattoo done by Oliver Peck in the dressing room after the show. That was, I think, 2009, 2006. I don't remember what we were talking about. It might have been 2004, 2006, somewhere in there. But good. I think it was the same tour that we did with Simple Plan, maybe. I don't know what year that was. I don't remember. It's all blurring together. But you were talking about GSF, though, getting off DC. DC was fun. But GSF, yes, we played that. We played Chick Magnet. We have merch. We have jackets, the GSF jackets. It's this like silver shiny jacket. It's kind of out of control, really. But you can get a pin and you get a certificate. And I think that was it was our merch team's idea. I don't know whose specific idea it was, so I apologize. But it was either Mary, my mom, or Mark, one of those three. They all put their heads together and they talk about fun ideas, or I'll give them an idea and then they'll take it further. But this GSF was one of their ideas, and I was like, that sounds fun. Let's do that. So we have jackets in the store right now at MxPx.com, but Chick Magnet, that's a great idea. Never even thought about it, but we should have a magnet, like a fridge magnet or something that's like a chick magnet, right? And especially now that my wife and family, we have little newborn chicks, little baby chicks. We have 5 of them. Did I talk about this on the last podcast? I might have. I don't remember. It's all a blur, and I've been everywhere, and I've had no sleep. And we have chicks. We have baby chicks. One of them's the biggest one is called Mac, so we call him Big Mac. And then we have Cheese, Big Cheese. Those are the 2 biggest ones, Mac and Cheese. But they're really fun, and of course now we need chick magnets. That would be something we could do for sure. I'll pass it on, Jay. That's a great idea, an absolutely great idea. Let's get to one more voicemail.
Hey, Mike Stewart from Kentucky. Just talking about that Perennial Sellers book. I hadn't heard of that one, and I'm interested in it, so I'll probably check that out. But yeah, books. Hey, my wife's a librarian. We're always reading around here, and I got one of these all the lyrics, or all the songs actually, all the songs books for Christmas of Queen. Queen was the first band that I really got into when I was like 12, and I was, I'm pretty deep in their lore, but I'm still learning more, all the songs books, they've got them for all the big bands, the Beatles and Springsteen, which I have Springsteen's book, and I'll get back to that one soon. But anyway, just goes through every song and their catalog, and talks about the production of it and the story behind it and who played what and all that good stuff. So I don't know. That's part of it. What do you think about? Do you think there'll ever be an MxPx book? Because I think that you all have a lot more songs than the Beatles, and a lot more songs than a lot of popular bands. And we know the stories behind a lot of the songs, but there's always more to learn. There's more lore. So that was part 1. What do you think about that? And then part 2.
Okay, let me just get to that, and then we'll get to part 2. Thanks for the call, Derek. Hope Kentucky's treating you well. Books. Love books. My kids read books. My wife is a huge book nerd. I am the least booky, and I still love books. I'm reading a couple books right now. One by Blake Crouch. I can't even remember the name of the book. I just started it, and I don't even know what it's about yet. Like I'm on chapter 2, and I'm like, okay, it goes from this old timey thing to this new thing, and anyway. He's kind of a horror, suspense, weird stuff writer, and I really like what he does. Some of it's too intense for me, to be honest, like too much crazy torture and weird stuff going on. But I'm reading another book called Enshittification, and I don't know the author's name. It's on Kindle, and it's just like I'll just pull up Kindle now and again, and because it's on my wife's Kindle, and she's got the books, and she'll now and again just let me know, hey, there's a book that I think you'll like. It's on there. Go read it. And I'll read it. And sometimes I won't even get through it, and then it'll disappear because it's a borrowed book from the library. But I do love books. So that being said, MxPx has one tab, sort of like a chord book, music book for the ever passing moment. It was a straight up like published chord book, and like you would see the Beatles have or whatever. So I always thought that was great, but we never really did it again. It takes a lot of work just to get the deal done and do this and that. But I would love to do more. I would love to do more and to put more behind it and to add stories about each song, how the song came about. Maybe there's an interesting story about the recording session and how would be best to do that? You know, would it be a greatest hits thing, maybe like our best songs and the stories behind those? Would it be each album? You know, I don't know, but that can be figured out in the future. But no plans to do that right now. I mean, we're working on this new record and stuff. But we're always, there's always more that I want to do than we possibly can do because there's just not enough time. But I love the idea of doing things like this because I like having physical products, and I like having things that you can look back on and really can remind you of the past and remind you of all the good times and good memories you've made, because we do forget those things. You know, when you think, oh, I've treated this person really well, and then a year later they totally screw you over, and you're like, wait, what happened? Did they forget all the good times we've had together, all the times I saved their ass and this and that? Yes, they did forget. People truly forget how good they've been treated, and they'll just, self-preservation takes over, selfishness takes over, whatever it is, whatever they are focused on takes over, and now they don't care about all the good years and all the good things they've experienced, all the maybe they went to a million good shows together and sang along to their favorite songs, and it doesn't matter sometimes. I mean, I think it should matter. I try, I don't always remember people. People come and I vaguely kind of remember meeting them in the past, and I don't remember the exact thing that we did together. Is it because I'm an a-hole, or is it because people just forget things? You have to constantly remind people, and that's why, your wife needs flowers more than one time a year. Your wife needs, or whatever you have. Your husband needs a compliment now and again. It's a desert out there. You need to compliment each other. You need to compliment your friends. Treat your friends. Give your friends a ribbing, but also tell them you love them and give them hugs and put your arm around. All these things matter, and we don't all get the support that we deserve and need. Not even deserve. Let's not even put deserve in there. Maybe none of us deserve it, but we truly benefit from support from our fellow family members, friends, other people, other colleagues we run into, associates, when I run into the Ataris, when I run into the suicide machines, to have the rapport where you're like, hey man, how's it going? Hug, boom, boom, boom. How you doing? All right, cool. All right, move on, go do your thing. That is so important. It's important to just feel good about each other, and the fact that Michael doesn't feel good about me is going to eat me up for a while. But it's just going to, hopefully it'll just make sure that I'm being intentional about every conversation that I have with people, and try not to let that happen again, because truly, obviously I did something. I don't really know, but sometimes it's just unavoidable, right? You say, let's talk about the internet for a second. The internet is, it's a place where a percentage of people, period, in the population are crazy. And then on the internet, that percentage goes way up. And then there's bots too. There's people that aren't actually people. They're NPCs. They're bots. They're just trying to get a reaction out of you. They're trying to manipulate your emotions in some way. And so there's just gonna be that contingency now and again. And you have to stay outside of it a little bit and gain a little bit more perspective. And I think as long as we all do that now and again, take time to look outside ourselves, I think it's only going to make you a better person. And so that's truly what I'm always trying to be and trying to do. And so onward we go. Let's listen to the second part of Derek's voicemail here.
What are you reading right now? What's what's catching your fancy as far as literary works go? And I don't know. I hope she's going great, and hope all the shows going on this week are successful. Much success. Many American dollars. All right. Bye.
That's what my barber always says, is like, go make some money. I'm like, okay, thanks. It's really not what I'm thinking about when I go out to do shows. It's literally, let's go do what we love. Let's go do the best shows we can. But thank you so much for the call, Derek. And I did answer your questions accidentally beforehand, talking about the books I'm reading right now, that book by Blake Crouch. I've read a bunch of his books. Like I said, I don't remember the one right now because I just started it. And the other one called Enshittification, and it's a book that's kind of about, it's kind of a John Green style book, but I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, to you readers, these novel readers and modern readers, you'll know, but it's about how companies just get worse and worse, and products have gotten worse and worse over, from the 60s on into now, right? And it's talking about social media platforms, talking about Amazon, Facebook, all these things that have like used starts, and it kind of breaks down why things happen and why when companies start, they're trying to make customers happy. They're trying to like do whatever they can for the customer. Then it becomes, let's do whatever we can for these businesses that are doing ads on our platform that the customers see. So now it starts to like move away from the happiness of the customer and go towards, let's make the business people customer, the ad people, the advertising end. And then from there, the happiness goes back towards the company itself, like Meta or Amazon or whatever company, right? And now the customers are unhappy and the advertisers are unhappy, and I'm sure people at Facebook are probably unhappy as well. It's just this sort of thing that just gets worse and worse as it goes. And I have not read the whole book, so I'm just this is just the sort of the beginning of it or whatever, but it's interesting to say the least. It is interesting. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning into the podcast. A lot to think about this week. It is now April. We are moving towards summer, but it is spring. Is it spring even? Is it still? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This thing, no matter when you listen, it's still good. I'm still going to be an a-hole. I appreciate you guys. The number, please call in. Let me know your thoughts. Give me another rant. Just flog me. Flog me, daddy. Flog me, mommy. Let's go. Did I just say that? I'm giving MxPx Daily Memes all the fodder. Shout out to MxPx Daily Memes. Love you. Call in 360-830-6660. I would love to hear from you. Shout out to Bob McKnight. Appreciate you. What else, you guys? MxPx.com. Yeah, I mean, part of why I do this podcast is to let you know what I'm doing. So, doing MxPx shows. They're all on MxPx.com. Go check that out. It's going to be awesome. We're not set for life, so we got to get out here and keep hustling and keep working and doing what we love. But the fact that we get to do music and get to do, I get to do podcasts. I guess this isn't my job, but it's just part of what I do. I love it. So to hear that people don't love it, yeah, I don't love that. But let's go. Let's get into this week. Let's do better. All right. Thank you. Peace.